women actually do need more sleep. Women generally need 8 to 10 hours of sleep, while men can function on 6 to 7 hours. So it is real. And sometimes it's switched. It doesn't mean it's always that way for men versus women. And I did for years because, I'm married to Greg Denning. And when we first got married, like we were the biggest dorks. We would just read, and we'd go to bed at 9 and we'd wake up at 4 a.m. and we'd study together before we went to work and school. Like we were the biggest little geeks and we loved it. It was so great. But we woke up at 4 a.m., even though we had no kids. And when I started having the kids, of course, I stopped doing that. It wasn't possible because sometimes I was going to bed at 4 a.m., right, with the baby. But as they started to get older, I had this idea in my head of like, I have to get up early and, be productive and everything. And I need to go to bed early with him so I can do that. But I just, over time of actually years of insomnia, finally realized, no, that doesn't work for me. So I had to figure out what worked with my body. Now, I read a book called The Power of When, and it talks about like chronological clocks for each person. That helped me to convince him that this was what I was supposed to do. But once I started doing that, it was so much easier. I went to bed when I was tired, which is again like 11:30 for me. I wake up without an alarm clock because I hate alarm clocks when I'm rested, which this morning was like 6:45. But for me, my wake up time can be generally anywhere between 6:45 and like 8:30. And he's usually almost always up before me. That's true, and I think that's normal, and it's okay. It's okay because we are different. We have very different hormones, and chronorhythms. Okay, so can you change your body rhythm over time? That is a really good question, and I do not know.
I think so. I've helped people do it. I've done it. You can train your body.
Except that I feel like I did try to do that, and I don't think it worked for me. Now, I'm not saying that.
Okay, so maybe I'll say men can do it. I don't know about women.
Yeah, maybe that's true. I'm not saying that like I don't have the ability to live on a different schedule. I could do that. But would that be ideal for my chronotype? I don't know. I think in some ways, like we have these individual best case scenarios for sleep, for eating, for whatever. And when we can figure out what those are, I think that that's the ideal, right? As opposed to trying to, like sometimes we have to switch it and that's fine. But at least for me, if I can live in my ideal, that's where I want to be.
Yes, and with small children, it's tougher. You guys, you all know that.
Yeah,
Little
absolutely.
kids make things hard, but they're awesome. I miss having little
It's
kids.
temporary, even though it feels like a very long
Uh,
temporary. It is
I gotta tell a quick
temporary.
story. I was just at the beach playing volleyball with my daughter,
18.
and one of the guys who was playing with us, they're our age, and they have 1 3-year-old. They're from Germany, and she's adorable. There's this cute little redheaded girl, and she only speaks Deutsch, right? And so, but I was talking to her and playing with their little dog, and I told her about our kids, and she was just, in German. Well, what are all your kids' ages? And her mom's translating, and so she wanted to know all their ages. And then she came back over, and she's to her dad, ask him what all the names of his kids are. And I mean, she's just this teeny cute little thing, wanted to know everything about our family and stuff. It was so cute. I was like, oh, I miss the little so much. They're so fun. I mean, they're a lot of work, but man, they're so fun.
Okay.